Welcome to Wild Treasures, our series that gets you acquainted with South Africa's wildlife. Today, we'll be taking a look at one of the most feared snakes in Africa, the Black Mamba. It's super fast, very smart, shrewd and feared across Africa. The Black Mamba is one of the 4 mamba snakes endemic to this continent. The other types of mambas include the Eastern Green Mamba, the Western Green Mamba and the Jameson Mamba. Mambas are generally arboreal snakes, which means they prefer to live on trees, with the exception of the Black Mamba, which is very terrestrial. They live in the savanna regions in termite mounds, hollow trees, as well as rocky hills. They occur throughout the sub-Saharan Africa in countries like the DRC, Kenya, Tanzania, Angola and the southwards, including South Africa. It's named the Black Mamba not because of the color of its skin, which is generally grey to dark brown depending on the age, but because of the inside of its mouth, which you can see during its threat display. They are diurnal carnivores that prefer to eat small birds, small mammals, bats, small chickens and other snakes. They reproduce between November and April, with the female laying 10 to 25 eggs at a time. Mambas don't care for the young, which have to fend for themselves after hatching. Black mambas are born with a length of about 51 centimeters and can grow up to 2.5 meters long on average, making them the longest venomous snake in Africa. The longest recorded mamba, however, was 4.4 meters long, found in Zimbabwe. Black mambas are lethal snakes that'll generally run away when they come across a human, but they can become aggressive when they feel threatened. Black mambas usually prefer to run away when coming across humans. But that's all relative when they feel threatened or cornered. We spoke to Ian du Plessis, the reptile curator at the Johannesburg Zoo, who informed us on why this is one of the most feared snakes in Africa.
The Black Mamba is a feared snake because of its size. Automatically it's the longest of them all, and people fear it because it's aggressive, it stands its ground. But it's not there to go out and hunt people. That's not true. A Black Mamba is feared because when it stands up, it stands its ground, and because of his speed, he's an extremely fast snake. And that's why people fear him, and that's what's making him different from the others that's more in the trees. And they immediately, when they see a movement or people that they don't know, they try to camouflage and to hide. Mambas also wants to move away, but if they're too close or you move into an area and they feel they can't get away, they will stand their ground.
The zoo currently has 2 types of mambas, but plans to get more in the near future. Working with these snakes in captivity, however, means that their keepers have to exercise precautions.
It's a quite unique experience because the reptiles, some of them are dangerous and they're quite show some different behaviors. They're not like primates where they can recognize you when you come to feed them. They don't have brains like the primates. Then you feed it every day, but you're still taking care of it, and then must be cautious when you work with them. They're also dangerous. They can bite you anytime. So that's why you have to be careful when you work with them.
Snakes generally are interesting reptiles, and that's not just because they have no limbs.
You see, you get 4 groups of reptiles, but snakes specifically, and the lizards, they shed their skin not only because they grow and the skin don't grow with them, but also get rid of that external parasites like ticks and fleas that's on the skin. So that's the main thing that what they do where crocodiles don't shed their skin. And again, something interesting, reptiles got 3 heart chambers where crocodiles got 4. So there's a few characteristics that make snakes a little bit different from other reptiles, but they're still a reptile. It means they still need that source outside their own body, like the sun or a heat source, to absorb that energy, that heat, to enable them to actually activate the metabolic system and then to allow them to move around and to hunt and to survive.
Black Mamba is it's a very quiet snake. It doesn't show aggressive behavior, but it's also dangerous. When you work with it, we have to be careful because this is one of the most highly venomous snakes that we have in Africa.
Mike Perry, who runs African Reptile and Venom, a company that is dedicated to train people on handling snakes. He also extracts venom for the making of an antidote. He himself has had an encounter with a venomous snake at an early age.
I've had 3 snake bites in 50 years of catching snakes. My first bite was in 1971. I was bitten by a puff adder at home. We had antivenom at home. I was injected intramuscularly with the antivenom as per the instructions what we knew then. But the swelling just went right up the arm onto the shoulder. Next morning the finger was ice cold, and then we decided maybe we should just phone our house doctor. He said, no, don't come to me, just go straight to a hospital. So we went. I was admitted 10 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the afternoon the doctor came to attend to me, and he said to me, I'm going to give you more antivenom. I said, all right, fine. He got the needle into the vein. He injected 2 cc's of that 20 cc's into the vein, and I just felt this itch develop on my back. I said to him, stop, there's something wrong. Instead of stopping, we finished the syringe. My body went stiff as a plank. My feet began to itch, but I couldn't reach my feet. Then the palms of my hands began to itch. I thought, okay, I'll get rid of this itch. I'll bite the flesh off my hands. That will get rid of the itch. Before I could do that, I passed out. I was unconscious for 3 hours. When I came right after 3 hours, there were 6 doctors around the bed. Their faces and their white coats were the same color. They had struggled for a long time to stabilize me. And that was the closest it's been for me. Right, so that was an anaphylactic reaction to antivenom. That's what I experienced.
Not many animals prey on mambas, but animals like mongoose, the honey badger and certain birds of prey are known to feast on this predator, while they themselves enjoy a rat or mice when hunger strikes.
In a captive environment, we give them rats. The younger ones, if they're still a baby, we can give it mice, but when they grow up, they eat rats. Let's say this one that we have here, this one we can give it 3 rats once a week. Every Tuesday we give it 3 rats.
The toxicity of venom in mambas can vary and is influenced by the region, the weather and altitude. The venom from a mamba is extremely toxic and can cause a human to collapse within 45 minutes of being bitten. And even though the mamba is feared across the board, the argument of whether it is the most dangerous snake on the continent still looms.
It depends on dangerous, because now we have to look at venom, what's a dangerous venom, and we're looking at size and body weight and strength. Because pythons, the African rock python, you get a much bigger African rock python the higher you go up into Central Africa. So again, that's a dangerous snake because they have the ability and the strength to kill and to hunt prey up to the size of the impala. Where about your modernized snakes, the New World snakes, use venom like your mambas, your cobras. But venom is divided into different groups of venoms. The 3 main ones that we concentrate on is a hemotoxin, like in your boom slug. And then we got your cytotoxin, like most of your vipers and certain of your spitting cobras. And then again your neurotoxin, that's your black mamba and some of your non-spitting cobras. But all snakes do have all these venom, it's just in the composition, how these venom are basically put together within the glands. So it's very difficult to say what's the most dangerous because it depends on the situation. Also, as you as a person, if you're allergic to something, where did the snake bite you, how old are you, how fit are you? So there's a lot of factors that play around. So that's a question, don't really have a right or correct or wrong answer. So to be honest, it depends on the situation.
Without being treated with the antivenom, a bite from a mamba can result in death within 7 to 15 hours after being bitten. When making the antidote, snake venom is extracted and used as part of the process, a job that suits only the passionate and the brave.
Mostly snake venom is used to manufacture antivenom. So I supply my venom to the antivenom unit of South Africa. It's called SA Vaccine Producers. They're a government company affiliated to National Health Laboratory Services. So they buy the venom, which they then use to immunize horses. The horses build up antibodies against the snake venoms. And after a certain period of time, when the horse is hyperimmune, the horse will make a blood donation. Depending on the size of the horse, they'll bleed from 6 and up to 10 liters of blood if it's a large horse. That blood will then be left in the flask to just stand for 45 minutes. And during that period of time, gravity will pull the blood cells to the bottom of the flask, so it separates from the plasma. The plasma contains the antibodies. The plasma is then drawn off. 10 liters of plasma will give you 1 liter of antivenom. So that plasma is then further processed and purified, so they just get the antibody out of it. And that antibody is what the doctor is going to use when you get bitten by a snake. Injects that horse antibody into your body. That horse antibody finds the venom, neutralizes it, and renders it harmless. And then you survive the snake bite.
There are mainly 2 types of antidotes made in South Africa to treat snake bites.
Now in South Africa, we have polyvalent antivenom and monovalent antivenom. Polyvalent means it's used for many snakes. So our polyvalent is used for the mambas, that's black mamba and green mambas. It's used for the large adders, the puff adder and the gaboon adder. It's also used for the cobras and the rinkles. whether they're spitting or non-spitting cobras. So we cover 10 snakes with one antivenom. That's the polyvalent. Right, the particular snakes are Black Mamba, Green Mamba, Jameson's Mamba, Puff Adder, Gaboon Adder, Rinkels, Mozambique Spitting Cobra, Cape Cobra, Snooded Cobra and Forest Cobra. All of those 10 snakes, one antivenom. The monovalent broomslang antivenom is specific just for broomslang bites. So we make a separate antivenom for broomslang. The simple reason for that is broomslang bites are rare. They're inflicted normally on people that handle the snake, that are careless and they get themselves bitten. The venom is a slow-acting venom. It causes internal bleeding. So you have the luxury of time, if you get bitten by a broomslang, that the antivenom can be ordered and be used successfully. It works very well to treat broomslang bites. In addition to the monovalent broomslang antivenom, we also manufacture a monovalent saw scale viper antivenom. Saw scale vipers are small little snakes. They grow between 40 and 60 centimeters in length. They cause most snake bites and most snake bite deaths in Africa. These snakes are prolific in West Africa. So we make an antivenom for the West African saw scale viper. So it's not used in South Africa, but it's used in West Africa.
We are going to take a short break, but we have more on this fascinating creature when we return. Stay tuned.